The Kayfabe Crunch is powered by Grapple Aid, the only sports drink not approved by the FDA. But what do they know? Grapple Aid absorbs the sweat from your pores. So technically, our drink doubles as a deodorant. So forget deodorant and down a bottle of Grapple Aid instead. You'll be the talk of the town.
The Kayfabe Crunch, the heart and soul of news.
Good news! This is your Kayfabe Crunch for Saturday, July 11th, 2020. I'm Ulysses Uranagi. Coming up, we have all the latest from NXT, Dynamite and SmackDown. Plus, we look at the headlines from mainstream wrestling media. But first, on this day in grappling history, in 2004, Edge defeated Randy Orton to win the Intercontinental Championship. Of course, everything between them is now fine. So, let's not say anything else on the matter. 7 years ago today, WWE opened the doors to their Performance Center for the first time. The PC has proven to be a valuable resource, especially in the last year, with world-class training facilities and a place to hold wrestling matches during a pandemic. The Performance Center is arguably the smartest investment the company has ever made. And 8 years ago today, WWE announced they'd invested $5 million in social media platform Tout. Yep. On a related note, our parent company actually had the opportunity to invest in TikTok around 4 years ago. They didn't, and the internal memo said something along the lines of, "It'll just be another Tout." They were wrong. And my kids' college fund will not let them forget it. And now, let's get on with the Barroom-Brawl news. Top story, Jeff again? Look, I get that there's drama here. Like, a guy is on a road to recovery on live television and he could slip up at any time, but other wrestlers exist, is all I'm saying. Every week, it's news about this guy. No, I understand that's what the news is, reporting what happens. Just a bit of variety, I guess, is what I'm looking for. Miz and Morrison open SmackDown with an episode of Miz TV. Perhaps they should rebrand as Mizmo TV. Actually, that doesn't sound entirely unrealistic as a tech company name. You're watching Mizmo. Can we invest in Mizmo? I'd hate for there to be another TikTok situation at this company. They brought out their guest. Surprise, surprise, Jeff Hardy. They proceeded to show him a series of clips that highlighted his addiction issues. Miz then commented, "You're my daughter's favorite superstar. I don't know why, it must be the bright colors and the fact you look like a f***ing clown. I need to know that you won't let her down." Jeff responded by saying he won't, but also he hasn't even picked her up yet, so he can't let her down. They're both dads, they'll appreciate that. The hosting duo then suggested that beating Sheamus is the next step on his road to recovery. Ah yes, you hear it in all of the AA meetings. Congratulations on being 6 months sober, sir, but now you've got to fight this massive bloke, or it doesn't count. Miz put forward the idea of a bar fight between the two, alluding to a home field advantage. Hardy because of his struggles, and Sheamus because he's Irish. Hardy agreed, stating he could conquer both demons at once. So, after defeating Sheamus, expect him to go for a pinfall on top of a bottle of Jack. Hardy then defeated Miz in singles action, but something, or someone, I should say, someone I would like to talk about is one Corey Graves. He mocked Hardy's struggles with addiction from the commentary booth. Now, I understand what Sheamus and Miz get out of making fun of Hardy, but a commentator? There's something off about it. That's why right now I'm calling for the immediate removal of Corey Graves from commentary. Hashtag cancel Corey's commentary. Graves must know that bullying those with mental health issues has no place in society. Unless, of course, it's to build hype for a professional wrestling match. And now it's time for your fast count, the FTW Championship of news.
Keith Lee becomes NXT's first double champion. He is now champion of the entire world. And also North America.
AJ Styles to defend his Intercontinental Championship against Matt Riddle. And the only stipulation Styles has refused to accept is a hotbox match.
Chris Jericho becomes the first man since Robert Kardashian to win big thanks to interference from OJ.
SmackDown hosts a karaoke competition for their women's division. And in other news, I've invented time travel because apparently it's 2008.
Rey Fenix executes the first springboard Canadian destroyer to the outside. Reports suggest a few MMA fighters are considering breaking out the maneuver tonight at UFC 251.
Cesaro and Nakamura make a statement by putting the New Day through a table. Sources say they reached for the wrong item and will actually be having a ladder match at Extreme Rules.
Shotzi Blackheart uses her tank to crush the leg of Robert Stone. Experts say this was a clear mistake by Blackheart, as it takes weeks to get human leg out of tank tread.
Even before they could walk the floor to talk, Bliss Cross jumped the boss. With Bayley failing to make the save, a match was made. Tag team action got some traction. Role models cheated, Nikki defeated. Sasha always has her friends back. I've got to stop listening to the Hamilton soundtrack. And that's your fast count.
You've been counted out. Don't show your face in this town again.
And there's just time for a quick look at the headlines from mainstream wrestling media. Nothing beats the physical touch and, oh yeah, smell of freshly baked news. We do our part for wrestling journalism by releasing this helpful, bite-sized podcast. But personally speaking, I'm old school. I love a good newspaper, and I'm just so thankful that so many outlets continue to print every single day, despite the fact it leaves them in financial ruin. Okay, let's see what they're leading with this morning. Weekend editions. Dave Smelter at the Grappling Ogler has a glowing review of Fyter Fest Night 2. Dave says, and I quote, I wasn't disappointed by this show. I liked the part with Jericho, and, that thing Phoenix did was just, good. It's a little strange that he even types the into his printed editions, but that's Dave. Sect Addicts have published a listicle, that's not like them, ranking the possible Extreme Rules stipulations from worst to best. Not to spoil any of their feature, but I'm going to. They've gone with Falls Count Anywhere as the worst and a hog pen match as the best. It's quite a tepid take. FightEmpty.com, printed edition. They've gone with an 88-page feature on which member of WWE management likes which wrestler and why. Oh, and it's just 88 pages on why Vince McMahon likes Otis. That's interesting. Reason number 6, lots of ham. And finally, known TMZ reporter Ryan Duvet of Pro Wrestling Duvet has a feature on Bayley and Sasha appearing on all 3 brands. He says, and I quote, "Why do management have both of them appear everywhere? I was told only one of them would, and now that it's both, it's too confusing. Instead, it should be me on the show. Swap me out for, I don't know, Bayley. I don't even care. I have big muscles. Big manly fighting muscles. With sinew and tissue and blood and skin and stuff. My muscles are the best. No one dares peek at my peaks. I'll choke everyone out until I'm SmackDown Women's Champion. You'll see. My muscles are the best. They're my fleshy arm hammers." Okay. Join us Tuesday when we'll ask, if no man can ever truly be good, and, therefore, no man can ever truly be evil, what about silly old Hitler? How do you feel about him, Alistair Black? Because he was pretty bloody evil. I hope that's not too controversial to say. And remember, you can support this podcast by recommending it to a fellow wrestling fan. They're out there, we promise. This has been the Kayfabe Crunch, your not quite daily, not quite news, bump for the world of professional wrestling.
The Kayfabe Crunch is powered by Grapple Aid, the sports energy drink by wrestlers for wrestlers. But like, anyone can drink it. Grapple Aid is packed full of vitamins A, B, F, Q, Z7, and AFOX Prime. Doctors recommend you drink 3 bottles per hour to remain fully hydrated and ready for grappling action.
The Kayfabe Crunch.